The Long Arm of the Law by Megan Dumahel, illustrated by Doug Jones. Sayings about the human body. Idiom tales. Welcome to Dry Gulch, a Wild West town. Come meet the people. I'll show you around. Idioms are well-known phrases that mean something different from what the words actually say. Idioms use lively and colorful language to conjure up images in the reader's mind. For that reason, they are remembered and often passed down from generation to generation. Tongue in cheek and behind someone's back are two popular human body idioms. Read on to learn 12 more. There's Bee, the best roper that anyone knows. She's great with a lasso. She stays on her toes. To stay on one's toes means to be alert. After all, it takes attention and concentration to maintain that challenging pose. Here's an idiom with the opposite meaning. Get caught flat-footed. That cranky card player is called Quick Draw Fred. He gets mad when he loses 'cause he's a hothead. Hothead is an idiom used to describe a person with a quick temper. Think about it. When you get really mad, doesn't it feel like your head is heating up? Ooh. Benny Beans plays the banjo at Sweeney's saloon, but those butterfingers won't let him finish a tune. Butterfingers is an idiom used to describe people who are clumsy with their hands. Imagine that your fingers were made of slippery butter. You'd probably drop a lot of things too. Sadie Dupree has a huge heart of gold. Her inn is the best in the West, I am told. A heart of gold describes someone who is extremely kind. Nice people are often called kind-hearted, so it figures that the kindest of the kind would have a heart of gold. This idiom was probably first by William Shakespeare. Bart Blaine, the blacksmith, works at his own pace. He's one gloomy guy with a very long face. A long face is used to describe someone who looks very sad. Why? Frowning tends to pull down people's chins, which makes them appear to have long faces. This idiom, like many others, relies on exaggeration to create a cartoony picture in the reader's mind. There are two cheerful cowgirls named Patty and Pip. They work as a team. They are joined at the hip. Joined at the hip refers to two people who are super close. This idiom is based on conjoined twins, a pair of people whose bodies are actually joined together. Wyatt Blurt's hurtful words are remembered for weeks. He put his foot in his mouth whenever he speaks. This idiom means to say the wrong thing. If you told your friend, I think pugs are ugly dogs, and it turns out he just got one for his birthday, that would be a perfect example of putting your foot in your mouth. What are you saying the wrong thing and putting a foot in your mouth have in common? Both are very uncomfortable positions to be in. Here's Sheriff McShane, the long arm of the law. He's a very brave man, and he's also my law. Long arm of the law is an idiom used to describe sheriffs and police officers. Why? Because no matter how far a bad guy runs, these lawmen usually catch him. It's almost as if they have a long arm. I'll take over as the sheriff of one of these years. Right now, I'm too young and still wet behind the ears. Wet behind the ears means young and inexperienced. This idiom is based on baby calves and colts. When these animals are first born, they are wet behind their ears. Yikes! Who is that stranger in the tall hat of black? There's a chip on his shoulder, and what's behind his back? A chip on your shoulder is an idiom that means you're ready to fight. In the early 1800s, there was a game in which one boy would dare another to knock a chip of wood off his shoulder. Knocking off the chip was guaranteed to start a fight. It looks like a showdown. Pa prepares for a stand. The rest of us bury our heads in the sand. To bury one's head in the sand means to hide from danger. The phrase is based on an old-time belief that ostriches bury their heads in the sand. Turns out that's a myth, but it's still a great idiom. He just brought us flowers. He wants to be our chum. The guy isn't a villain. He's just got a green thumb. Green thumb is an idiom that means good at making plants grow. How did the phrase come to be? Folks that spend a lot of time gardening often get chlorophyll, the pigment of plants, on their hands, which can lead to green thumbs. And now, my friends, it is time for Idiom Match and your idiom assignment on Schoology. Have fun, my friends.